Welcome, faraway friends. You have found yourself once more at Darkeport. I have today the inestimable pleasure of snagging a GM out in the wild, and he is a fascinating fellow. He is doing some things that I have never done as a GM, which I love. He is also involved in multiple interesting projects, and we were able to carve out some time to have a little chat today. So, Krishna, please introduce yourself and welcome.
Well, my name is Krishna Wymore, and the first I want to say that I'm like a fan of
Aw,
and your show. Like, I think the one where you talk about the difference between alignment with where
yeah,
you like lawful evil versus chaotic good. And I was
that
like, oh
wouldn't.
man, that's really cool. I'm gonna get that out of the way. I'm gonna have my little fan gush right before.
Oh, thank you, and I appreciate that.
But yeah, so about me, my name is Krishna Wymore. I go by my dungeon master name is Vino Veritas, and I stole that from, um, the old Latin saying, "And wine is truth." And
Indeed,
like,
indeed.
yeah, I like to feel like I'm like a half elf, half dwarf, half halfling, half giant, and half drunk. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was in second grade. My older brother got me into it with the original or the second edition book,
Mm.
and we loosely followed the rules, but like just telling stories about dragons and elves, it was just amazing. And then and like as a young guy in second grade, I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is so great. Um, and I played, some RPGs throughout, till about high school and started doing other stuff. And then I got back into it um, 2 years ago in April of 2023. And I just planned
Oh,
on coming back to
okay.
play. And I got kind of like, well, we don't have anybody to run a game. Can you run this game? And it ended up being a game at a tavern it ended up being like 12 people showing up. So I ran this game for 12 people at a tavern. My theater background really came into play, and then my
Mhm.
just love of telling stories about this genre, like, and so it worked out. People had a great time, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'll just keep doing this.
Krishna, that was your first time as a game master was running for 12 people?
So let's see. So I did maybe once or twice game
Oh my
mastered when I
gosh.
was in high school, a couple times doing
Okay.
uh, Vampire the Masquerade. We played,
Yes, well
yeah,
I know it and love it.
played a lot of that in high school. So yeah, like very cool. Really like the White Wolf system with the
Mm,
D10s.
mhm.
Um,
Really
yeah,
fluid.
yeah, yeah. So I'm probably dungeon mastered 2 games and
In high school.
in high school, and then 20 years later, I
Wow.
just like just decided to do this. Um,
See, I did not know that. I did not know. I knew that you were relatively that you had taken a break. I did not realize that it was like a break. you know? Uh, that makes what I saw when we met one another even more impressive to me then. I mean that was I really saw you in your element, and I'll tell you, faraway friends, this man is good at what he does. It was
yeah.
it was just it was just it was flowing like mother's milk, you know. I mean, just right there. Um, well, I guess with that we should just I collected a few pictures, and I wanted to kind of run through them, and then maybe that can
Cool.
inform what we're talking about. But we can, if there's anything else you want to add, if there's some other topic you want to cover, this is spacious. This We're all there.
That was just the cliff notes. So if you need me to go into the depth of any of that stuff, feel free to dig.
Well, I definitely for sure, and I definitely want to ask you about the die 14 system, because that is something that many of our audience members are never going to have encountered before. So I think that that's a good thing to kind of promulgate and get out there. So first, though, would you tell us about this creature and what this actually is. Let me put us to the side so you can
Yeah,
see the whole thing.
that's D.A.R.C. That's the mascot for the Downtown Austin Role Playing Coalition. So um, this is how I got back into gaming. I was looking up just D&D online. A friend of mine said I mentioned that, like, yeah, it sucks you can't get a game with people to play. However, else I would totally jump in. And a friend of mine was like, bro, you gotta go to start playing games, bro. Get it online. You get a game. And so I searched for that, and like I guess the algorithm saw, oh, well, you're searching for D&D online. Well, here's an Instagram in Austin popped up. Come play.
In Austin.
Yeah, the Belgian
Yep.
Tapestry, and on Congress, and and so Anthony, he started the Dark, and he, like, this is one of the first games he was running, and I showed up, and I was like, I just got off of work. I was like, oh man, I didn't have time to make a character. I don't have any dice. I didn't even bring a pencil. He's like, don't worry, I got you. Here's a character. Here's a set of dice. He ran the game. It was really awesome. And I was like, oh, here's your dice back. And he was like, no, that's your set now. And I was like, oh man,
Wow.
that's and like, it's like that was so touching. And I was like, dude, this is great. And that's something that I've wanted to bring to paying it forward, right? Bring to everyone that I run games for. Like, that's the kind of dynamic that I want. It's like, here's the game. You want to come in and join us? We're going to play together, and being generous with that type of stuff. And so we met up, like, the next meetup for art. And it was supposed to be another TTRPG, and he said it was Fate. And I was like, oh, that's I'm cool. I'm down. I'm down for anything. Played all different systems, and
Oh,
and we were the
I'm
only ones
losing.
to show up.
Yep,
So
here we go.
uh,
So yeah, keep going. I lost you for just a minute.
okay, sorry,
Go
yeah.
back.
Okay, so I was the only. The two of us were only able to show up. He's like, "Yeah, it's a D&D is what brings everybody to the game." And he's like, "I'm just kind of tired of DMing." He's like, "Well, I'll DM." And he said, "Okay." So we set up a game at another tavern. He was like, "The quintessential: your party meets in a tavern, and we're going to meet in a tavern and play as players." So that was the kind of the whole idea of this initial project. And so later, game goes on. We ended up having like 16 people show up. So he ran a mini game for a few people, like that came in after the table got filled up. And then I ran a game for everyone else, and it was all theater of the mind. That's
Right.
what mainly I've been used to from doing a lot of the Vampire Masquerade and all the stuff I've done in high school. It's all theater.
Same here.
So just doing very descriptive, and it was great. Everybody enjoyed it. Kept doing stuff with Dark. Anthony and moved to Albuquerque, and so he gave me ownership of the Austin chapter, and
Oh,
yeah, and so I started running games at several different places downtown. Started running a weekly game at the Tiny Minotaur Tavern, and I mean, just doing a weekly game for open table for every people just coming in is like really like it was like a dungeon master boot camp. Like, I learned a lot just doing that constantly.
gosh, that you were so brave. You were really brave, Krishna, to do that.
Well, yeah, it turned into like something I just can't help but do, right? Like, I really enjoyed, just telling these stories and playing off of people, and that's where like the art really comes into it, where it's like I can tell a story just monologuing, right? But if I have someone that I'm gonna play off, it's 100% funnier, 100%
So much better.
interesting, and it entertains me as well. So it's pretty great. And so I'm building this Dark at the Downtown Austin Role Playing Coalition. We're trying to get so newbies like me who started out like They don't even have a set of dice to their name, coming in, and we're going to come in, like, match you up with other players, right? Come to one of our events, and it's free unless there's a cover at the venue, right?
Mm.
But not going to charge you for the game. We run like multi-table events with other game masters. Try to do like real interesting type of um, uh, gaming sessions, not your normal D&D. And then like the one that I run on Thursdays, I tend to call it like D&D plus social hour. So a lot of people will play, and but also catch up and talk about other stuff like during the game, before and after the game. And it's pretty fun. So the Dark is like kind of a nonprofit situation, and we try to bring in like other shows and other gaming groups, LARPing groups, cosplay groups, and just trying to get everybody together in one spot. So other people that come into the area or into the hobby don't have the same wall that I did, where it's like, I don't know where to go, where to start. Right. Well, it's like, hey, we're right here. There's a lot of, you got all these options in one. And I've been seeing like it, like Dark grow, and like the stuff that I'm
Mm.
doing, kind of like I see start to get mirrored in other sites. It was really cool. Like I made a list of I just kept building a list of like all the different like gaming spots and all the different gaming
Mm-hmm.
shows and stuff, all the stuff in town that you could do. And put it down as a resource, started posting it up. People were like, yeah, that's a great list. And then someone came up with a website. It's like, oh, I put it all on a website. Everybody just click. I was like, dude, that saved me the, the website building. And that's the great thing about this community is like everybody can have a little piece of it, and we can all make it better together.
to to piggyback off of that, I think one of the most remarkable things that you're doing here, I mean, you're succeeding. Like, I think one of the most remarkable things is that you have just made the whole experience of gaming so accessible. And I don't know if the word democratizing it really makes sense in this, but that's kind of what comes to mind. Like, it's not something that you have to. It's not something that you have to have somebody laboriously run through a 200-page rule book, and you have to study, and you have to, all of that, like, before, like, you really can just jump in and not have the foggiest idea of what you're doing, except you want to have a fun time and you want to tell a story.
Yeah, it's this shared storytelling. It's this beautiful like art/game experience. It's great.
And so often, I so often there's a discussion about like what's art and what's not, and I'm kind of in the camp of, I think art is anything that evokes human emotion. So to me, like gaming is clearly an art form, but um it's also like maybe in the best tradition of like a folk art, where you're just around a campfire spinning some yarns.
Yeah, exactly. Like
So
it's
oof,
storytelling. Like and then everybody gets a piece of this story. We tell it together.
that oof was just um I was before we went on camera. I was threatening to vent to you, GM to GM.
Oh, well,
um,
that's another session. I think we need like GM rants.
GM co-therapy.
Yeah. Like like vent GM vent sessions, right?
Um, yeah, I'm very proud of Darkport. I think we punch way above our weight in terms of production value and talent and all of these things. And I'll put our storytelling up against anybody who's ever sat behind a camera in this medium. And I know that's a big claim, and I stand by it. Um, what the thing that I am just like grappling with, and there's like a little kid in me that just is like going, "Wah!" When you're describing this, is because I'm like, literally, before we got on, before we found each other here, virtually, Krishna, I'm going through this whole production thing right now, and like trying to figure out, without getting into the how the sausage is made graphically, just trying to like make sure everything is ready for us to come back off of our hiatus on the Terra table, because we have multiple campaigns going on. And it is, I'm not the most organized person under the best of circumstances. And so it is real difficult. And so the fact that you can just show up and I can personally attest to this, by the way, uh, just immediately draw people into a game. They don't know each other, they don't know the setting, they don't know the context, and you know what? They don't have to, because the way that you set it up, and like I said, we'll get into the die 14 system and kind of how you had some very clever like hooks and ways of getting people immediately in, which I thought were really smart. They kind of reminded me of Daggerheart, except they're even more universal, I think. Like, what's your quest? And in like one line, in one phrase, you solve the eternal what's my character's motivation, issue. So maybe I'm gonna roll into this piece next, but maybe you can kind of tell us. So we have this situation, and what was going on here, and how does this relate to what we've talked to? And by the way, faraway friends, he and I have not. This is the first time that we're discussing any of these pictures before. I literally just got these pictures and prepped them on the software we use. So here we are. I'm genuinely interested in these answers.
Yeah, going in blind. Okay, yeah. So this was one of the Wizard City shows that we did. So I do a collaboration with the Wizard City
Mm.
team. It's a multimedia experience with puppets and live musicians, music, and we weave it in a game in between. Like, so if you think about you're playing the game, and like the cut scenes that you would have like on a video game are the puppets,
Ooh.
NPCs,
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
right? So in between what's going on, and then but now the cuts, you can interact with some of the players and the actors. So this is one of the actors who was playing the stray, which is a amorphous cat that can like mind control others and stuff. And so he's like he was the
Can't
baby,
all cats?
huh?
Can't all cats?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
so what I do is I run the game. I'm in the Wizard City system is called the Quest Keeper, Dungeon Master, Game Master. So the Quest Keeper for this, and so I, set the stage for everybody, get everybody set up, make sure their characters are ready, and like walk them through the adventure. Um, and and I kind of do like it's like almost a master of ceremonies situation where I get the crowd involved, and then kind of facilitate the interactions between the other actors and puppeteers. And so the stray was going around fighting each table. They're rolling dice versus
Oh,
uh, yeah, these players here. The gentleman right in the middle there, he actually does his own. He did his own TTRPG, Titanomachy. We're gonna get off of the subject a little bit, but we
sure.
invited him to come down, and he's a game creator there, enjoying Wizard City. It's a futuristic cyberpunk based in Texas, where you have to defeat the giant titans of industry. Um,
Ooh.
and like he came in, so he was promoting his game with us, and he was having a good time. Yeah, and so that's that. Yeah, that's how this works. So it's like actors interacting, and that's something that I brought from some of my dark stuff, where I would have people play NPCs in my game. A friend of mine would, he'd dress up like a dragon, put his dragon wings on and a tail, and go around to each table and like just interact with the table as that character. Another friend of mine, that she would come in as a fae. So a lot of times when I'm running games at the Tiny Minotaur, she'll come in and like, hey, I brought everybody some treats, and I was like, okay, cool. Oh, and then I just weave her into the story, and the treats become like give you buffs.
Perfect.
It's one, and so yeah, so it's just like, and so so it's kind of second nature going into this Wizard City show where the actors are coming around, interacting with the players as they're playing, and I'm just coordinating everybody that is playing the players, the actors, the puppeteers, and yeah, and that's us playing a game and having a good time.
I find it so hard to believe, Krishna, that you never LARPed. That was not part. I mean, you were in theater, which is, you know, kissing cousins, but that, you know, it's such an interesting, because to me this is the intersection of several different media coming together, really, you know, several different forms of gaming coming together, and I love how you've hybridized it.
Yeah, I think my first LARP was like a year and a half ago, so it was after I got back into the hobby,
Right.
and I've done a couple of that, and I feel like it's a little bit different of a dynamic. Like, um,
Oh, it is. It
yeah,
is.
yeah. So at least for me, because LARPing, I have to embody this singular character um,
Mm,
the whole time, whereas when I'm
mm.
game mastering, I'm multiple characters, and I kind of control the world that's going on, and so like I have to kind of like separate those things when I'm with the LARP. I realize, okay, like I'm part of this bigger world, and it's really fun. And I love it, but I feel like it's a different, like for me, it's kind of a different brain change. It's like a
Does it feel too constrained for you?
no, I don't. I wouldn't say it's too constrained. Uh,
Mm,
it's like it's just a different. It's a different way that I'm used to um, doing the show. Right.
right.
It's a totally different way of having the like interacting with the game. Um, and like playing like D&D and like playing as a character, like kind of coming up with the backstories, and that's, I think that's a little bit easier because there's like a turn base. There's like, okay, this is when you're expected to do your thing, and then you wait for the other players to do their thing, right? And then you have time to kind of like observe everything, like as not as your character, but just as the player. But when you're LARPing, it's like you are that character the
No, it's
100%.
all real time.
Yeah, yeah, 100% real time. So
It's yep. It's all real time. It's also funny. Randy, who plays Marcus on Darkport, is a phenomenal player and one of my, you know, dearest people to me in the world. And he once, many years ago, he said, "Yeah, it's a lot harder to talk smack." One of the For those who haven't played Vampire, one of the warrior cast is called warrior clans called the Bruja.
mhm.
Um, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a lot harder to talk smack when 10 Bruja roll up in person than it is." You know, and they're like in
Yeah,
your face, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Like heavy metal punk rock
Right,
passes.
right.
Yeah,
Instead of the storyteller just saying, "Yeah, okay, so group of Bruja roll up on you," you know, like it doesn't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't have the same impact.
definitely does not have the same weight. You're totally right with that. Yeah.
No, and then so we have so that sounds amazing, and then we have perhaps the most adorable picture of all of these in here. We have several things going on here. So, is this a similar event? If so, if not, what's the same? What's different? I see the puppets there. I see some lovely people some of whom I have met before. But bring us into this one.
Yeah. So this is a playthrough of the Wizard City playthrough. So um, I decided that, yeah, I wanted to run a Wizard City game for, and this is like the Wizard City players. We got um, uh, Nettie and Larry in the middle there, and they are like our musicians and actors. Nate's on the right there with the puppets. He's
Hmm.
the Wizard City was his brainchild. He has the he's the main puppeteer, um, and so I was like, yeah, let's get together. I want to run a game for you guys. So I kind of ran it in my style of
Hmm.
how I run games, but I ran it a Wizard City for them, and they interacted as and like they were their characters like the whole time. Nate was doing the puppets, and I had the mimic puppet as one of the villains of the adventure. So when the mimic puppet shows up, I have it. I was able to puppeteer that, and that was pretty funny because you can go up and you like lick the face of like one of the players, and
Oh God.
like the tongue's movable in that puppet. And so having these type of props like really like add to the adventure. I think is really fun.
Uh,
Um,
wow, I am okay. I got way too many ideas just in that 1 second of you describing that. Okay, okay. Some of my players already don't like me sometimes at the table, so this is even better. This is even better. Under duly noted, sir. Duly noted. Uh, and was this with the D14 system, or was this
so you're
Dungeon?
only with the D14 system, and that's uh,
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and pause here and explain what to our faraway friends with that? What's up with that?
yeah. So the D14 system is a one die game, right? And it's all about opposing rolls. So you want to do something, you roll the D14. The dungeon master rolls the D14, or the quest keeper. They roll the D14, and whoever gets the higher one is successful, right? There was like one part where one of the adventurers like, well, I want to crawl through this like tiny hole, and I should be able to fit. Yeah, it was like it's gonna be a tight squeeze, so give me a D14 roll for your athletics to see how well you navigate. And like, what am I rolling against? Well, you're rolling against the hole. The hole's rolling versus you to get through, right? And so instead of having a bunch of different numbers for skill checks, it's like you have
Right.
your specific what you're good at, right? And and I think that's what a lot of the best characters are for any of the systems where they're really good at something and they're really bad at something, and that allows the group to work together really well. Because otherwise, if everybody's kind of like really kind of even, then everybody kind of does something okay. But you want like you can have like someone really shine and do something really well, but then they have to do something that they're bad at and that's even better, and then the other player comes in who's good at that thing can come in and help them out. And
Right.
so
Right. And it's built for speed, really. I mean, at least that's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
you know
So it's for
what I
yeah.
observed.
You can keep the game going really
The
really
flow is really good.
the game
Yeah.
flow. And it's about like imagination and storytelling, and focusing on the, the storytelling and role play part of the game. So there's combat too, right? But you're
Hmm.
just rolling d14s, and the way you describe the combat is more important than the damage you're rolling, right? So when you describe that, okay, well, I'm a llama herder, and that's the great thing about the Wizard City system, where it's like, yeah, like you can be whatever type of character you want to be, and then you kind of come up with what your class skills are, right? It's like so, like my llama stampede, and I got llama spit, and I have maybe llama cuteness, right? Or like three things that I can do. And
Right.
and so like, I want to do a llama stampede. Okay, you roll and you describe how your llamas come in from out of nowhere, out of a bag of holding, and like stampede over the enemy. And so
What 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 I really like about that, like just as a player, the one time that I was with you, Krishna, was it makes irrelevant the whole thing about somebody's like trying to cheat or or they're trying to win in a conventional sense. And it's like this is purely just like for an experience. Like we're telling a story, we're having this fun together, and we're playing this game together. And so it's like that's fine. Make up whatever powers you want. It's like you're gonna list them and you're gonna have them,
yeah,
but but you don't have to go through this copious rule book about how whether or not what's a freaking bonus action versus a reaction versus like none of that. It's just it's right there, and I feel like you managed to boil down some of the very quintessence of storytelling on a single page.
Yeah, and that's the real fun of it. Like we can get to the meat of the game of what we're trying to do is like we're trying to tell this story, and you get to be like that night we had the Wizard Rave and I was running games. Like we had a Goku, we had Anakin Skywalker, we had a Mandalorian, and like if you know who Goku is, he's probably the most powerful guy in existence. And if he's not as powerful yet, he's going to be powerful next week when he after he trains and comes back, right?
Right.
So
Right.
like how do you have Goku versus a Mandalorian, right? It's not no contest, but in Wizard City, like it's all balanced. So you can do all the cool Goku shit you want to do, but like everybody's as powerful as each other. Like there's no like okay, I game the system to where I can be
Right.
have this extra power. It's like no, we're all badasses in our own right, and
But you might be Goku, but you might still get llama stampeded.
yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it's kind of like a fighting game that way. Everybody can still beat on each other.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy it. Well, I'm gonna speed run these next two because I want to get to the last picture, and then you and I can just chill. And I have some other like GM kind of questions I wanted to ask, if that's okay.
Yeah.
But wanted to hit this guy. We couldn't get through this entire interview without you looking fantastic and badass. So what's going on here?
Oh, so this was at Central Machine Works. Not this most recent May 4th, but it was their May 4th, May the 4th be with you celebration.
Oh.
And there was a lot of cosplayers there, and I ran a Star Wars game there, which is like a pickup game, and it like there are the few people that came and played. It was really fun. I enjoyed it so much. I went ahead and did it twice, 2 years in a row at ChupacabraCon, and
ChupacabraCon. Okay, yeah.
yeah, that's so the ChupacabraCon's gaming convention, and so I did it with the fanfare music, the blaster sounds, lightsaber sounds,
Mm.
the droid screaming sounds, and all that, and of course
Oh
the
wow.
Wilhelm scream. That's like a staple anytime I do uh, um, audio. And like this guy was dressed up. This is awesome. Obi-Wan Kenobi was like, I got to get this picture, and it just so happened the fan was right there blowing. So like both of our capes were like billowing at the same
You
time.
look majestic.
And
You
I
look
was
majestic.
that was it was like this is too good, right? So yeah, that was I was running a Star Wars game that day,
And
and
that was also D14, right?
well, so the Star Wars game is D&D.
Oh, that version. Okay.
That
Okay.
version of the Star Wars game is 5e. I still really enjoy. I run a lot of 5e games. I really enjoy
Mm.
5e, and that's what a lot of people really like to play. So everybody's in my game. Everybody's a Jedi, and kind of make it easy on like people just showing up. Make it easy on the game master as well. You get your Jedi mission, and you get to finish it however you want to. But
Mm.
we just use the Blade Singer class, and there's very few tweaks um, to the class, right? And everybody gets like all the spells that are like Jedi spells and all the telekinesis and um,
Wow. Okay.
so and I was like, and then we kind of like go into my style of rule of cool. So even when we're playing D&D, we're still, hey, you want to do a cool Jedi thing? Just let me know what you want to do, and most likely you can do it. Because if you're playing a Star Wars D&D game, you already like you most likely already know what kind of Jedi stuff you want to do, right? And so there's a way to make it express it through D&D that's not very difficult to make happen, right? It's like, okay, yeah, that's a level 2 spell. Go ahead and do it. And
Right.
so I made a few adjustments. Like I added a few skills to it. One was engineer, pilot, navigator, gunner, and mathematician. And all of them are basically like you get your +5 in navigation or +5 in engineering, and part of the adventure is like you're on the Millennium Falcon and everybody's got to do different stuff to make everything work. And the mathematician is there mainly to roll dice, read out the numbers and tell everybody what the odds are and annoy the whole table. But they do get to give advantage, like they take their action to give advantage to everybody by giving the odds. But it's
A proper support character.
yeah.
Let's see. And then this, I love. This must be some. So actually, I lied. Maybe this is where we'll sit for a bit. Because this looks like street. This looks like street games, eh?
Yeah, this is street D&D. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I couldn't just do it by myself. I needed some assistance, right? And when the Wizard City team we got together, we started talking. It was like, hey, I'd really love to do this. Or like, well, we need to figure out a way to promote our Wizard Rave. And I was like, well, let's go downtown and run games for people. And so Nate was doing the puppets. We also had the same actor who was doing the Stray. He came out, and so this night we're just going like people, and you don't have to go up to anybody and say like, hey, do you want to play D&D? People are like, what's going on? What's up with these puppets? You got a D20 there? It's like, yeah, let's play. And it's right off the bat, like, okay, quick, okay, so you're a wizard. What kind of wizard are you? And someone's gonna say, well, I guess I'm a fire wizard. Okay, cool. What is your what's your special spell finishing move? Right? Oh, well, I got a fireball. Cool. All right. And what is your name? What is your quest? And what is your favorite color? So I pull on the Monty Python roots from that, and so if you don't know Monty Python, it's like, okay, that's interesting, but if you get the joke, it's like it's even better. People like it,
right?
But it really just sets up real quick what people are going to do during the game, and sometimes they don't know what quest. They're like, I don't have a quest. I don't know. Like, oh well, your quest is to find a quest. So let's go on a quest, right? And then I just like look around and see what's happening around us, and I say, okay, well, you're walking down the street in the middle of Wizard City. There's castles to the left, tall spires that go up to the clouds to the right. Dragons are flying overhead, spewing their breath as you can see the lights in the distance. Dinzines all around you of different types. Kobolds and dragonborn, goblins, and some creatures you don't know the name of are walking around. And before you, as you turn a corner into the alley, you see a chest. What do you do? Right? And then they just get right into it. And like, how long did that take? That just take like less than a minute of set up, game set up. People know what their plan is. And now they go like, well, I want to go, touch the chest, or I want to throw a fireball at the chest, or okay, let's start rolling. And then if it's something that you're good at, one of your specialties, like, oh well, I'm going to use my llama to go over there. Okay, you're using your llama, your llama specialist. Roll with advantage, and you roll versus the DM, and then we just keep going back and forth. We started out with a D20. Now because it's fun rolling that giant die. We have the big D14 now, which we're using to go back and forth, which is really fun. And people who have never played D&D before, or even played any TTRPG, are like, what is this? What's going on? And they can just jump right in and start doing it.
That's amazing, Krisna.
So I did it. We did this downtown. And figured kind of like worked out the kinks of it. I was at Sherwood Forest Fair, the Renaissance Fair here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I was camping out, and I was like, I had a table set up, and I was like running games at the campsite. Like whoever like just came by, like, hey, you want to play a game? And I was just running some D&D games. And one of the most fun things is to go around and go to the clans. So I brought my big D20, just started walking around. People were like, oh, this big D20. It's like, yes, adventure, time to play, right? And then we play like a 5-minute game, and then they go, and then we split up. And we go along our business, right? But it's real fun. I actually was doing that at the fair just for fun, and I had someone sent me a link. It's like, hey, you're on this Facebook group, your picture on here, and it's like me, Winfair garb, shirtless night with a big D14, and it's like, and like this caption was like, yeah, I saw like this, I saw this game, like I couldn't help but take a picture of what's going on here. And then like people start commenting, he's like, oh yeah, I was there, they were fighting the troll, hey, did they get that troll? Yeah, they fucked that troll up. And it was really interesting to see the reaction that people had to like post what happened there, right?
Hmm.
I see like the reactions people have during the game, and especially at the Ren Fair, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing," and then everybody gets to do the stuff that they all want to do that's like real crazy and fun that sometimes they can't do when you have a real rigid game, and not to uh, say rigid games are not fun. It's just a different experience,
It's a,
a different outlet of
yeah, it's a really different.
like really just like go off the rails and tell a weird ass story together.
Just so. All right, last one, and then you're all mine. Then I. But this is where we met.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's me and Cletus. Cletus is one of the Wizard City Wizards, and that was at the Oven at the Wizard Rave for the launch party of the Wizard City TTRPG. And yes, it's the D14 system, and
Mhm.
we had DJs playing. We had a costume contest, wizard costume contest, which I emceed, and we had people roll the giant die, like the audience picked with audience participation, like who cheered the loudest. So I got like the top 5 and had them roll off to determine who was the better wizard, and we did like an impromptu kind of game right there, a PvP game. And then I was running like games, the Wizard City games for people, like just doing 30-minute dungeons. People come up, we play, we roll like what map we're going to be on, we roll for what the hook is, and we roll for the
Yep.
antagonist. And then it's like kind of this random thing for me and for the player. And the players like make a character real quick. The wizard is like on one sheet, you got everything you need for that Wizard City game, and you start rolling.
No, I love that, and that watching you uh, perform that and also experiencing it was why I knew I had to interview you. Like, I really wanted this emergent new way of gaming to become better known. I think I loved watching. There were 4 of us at the table, that time,
Yeah.
and there was one young gentleman who had been champing at the bit to game and didn't get a whole lot of chance to do that. And it was wonderful to see him just light up. I mean, everybody did, but he really lit up and was just like so obviously happy to be receiving this and to be getting to kind of, the word that comes to mind is frolic, but
Yeah, frolic is the very good word for that. I love that. Yeah, frolic through the Wizard City. It's
yeah, to just be able to play,
Mhm.
just play in the purest sense, almost like you were a child again.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's really great about this. This type of method is like we get really into just the imagination and the what people kind of always wanted to try to do, right? And that stuff that they couldn't do anywhere else, right? They didn't have like the method or like the madness to like or the venue to have this just like really just like kind of visceral. I'm gonna say something, and you're gonna react to it, and however you react is okay. However your character reacts or however you react as a player is okay. We're gonna build on that, and we're gonna have fun with that, right? Um, yeah,
So important, so important for the players to know that there isn't a wrong answer or a right answer to things. So, question for you: What's the point of gaming?
The point of gaming is to have fun, and in this world, right, we have an option, right? We can go through it and not enjoy it, or we can go through it and enjoy it. Right? And for me, it's a no-brainer. I want to go through and I want to enjoy my time here. And gaming is a way that we can enjoy this awesome like life, right? And so that really brings out a lot of like aspects of life, but in a really kind of safe place, in a fun place where we can explore, like any type of game, like from board games to TTRPGs to LARPs to video games. You have this like great option to just like be part of the experience, right? I love movies. I really enjoy watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit of a movie file for specific things, and um, but like gaming like lets you interact with the story. Um,
That
and
was going to be that was going to be my next question, and not surprisingly, you anticipated it. How is it different? Is it different from any other kind of entertainment? Yeah.
because you're a part of it. Yeah, when you're gaming, and uh, the freedom we have when we're doing this style, right, lends to it, and the game part of it, the rolling the dice, like adds the randomness that uh, that kind of like how life throws stuff at you, right? It adds that randomness to
Yeah.
it where you're not always sure how the story's going to go.
Mm.
So and so that's the part of the fun part is improvising with that process.
Do you do you think there's anything to the idea of gaming as therapy?
Oh yeah, there is a lot of that kind of idea coming through like online. I see a lot of people talking about how D&D is therapy, and I'm not your therapist. I'm your dungeon master, right? But like it's proven that it is a net positive. Like the when they do like the study they did of D&D players in jail,
Mm.
like show that the positive improvement that they had, like people playing D&D, like, and you can see like when in kids, like uh, they're able to express their ideas in a like a safe space, right? Where yeah, I'm not me, I'm playing this character and I want to say this thing, I'm not, and I'm unsure of, can I do this, can I not,
Right.
how do I express, how do I talk, and it gets you just practicing talking to other people without the baggage overhead of, oh, I got to say the right thing, or this person's not going to like me later, or it takes that baggage away, and
For sure. For
you just
sure.
kind of like open up and practice talking about the emotions of your character and the motivations of your character.
And it's safer because it's your character.
Yeah, yeah, it's his character, it's not you,
Right.
right?
It's not me I'm talking about. I'm talking
Yeah,
about my
no, I'm
character.
not mad at you. The character's mad at you.
Right.
I express this anger, right, without the person I'm talking to getting offended, right? And that's something that we need to
Mm.
do at more, I think, and like let people. It's like it's okay to be angry. It's okay to express yourself, your anger, or your disappointment with somebody. And that's good things to walk through and to talk about. Um,
Oh, so yeah, vital actually in growing up.
but
And
it's very difficult because when you do that, you can offend somebody, and like you do that and you can cause a antagonist relationship with somebody that you care about but you want to express yourself, right? And this allows you to like work through those things, allows you to kind of figure out how to say certain things without, you know, causing that destruction, right, of relationships, maybe. And then I think there's the other part where it's like you could be working through some of your trauma, like um, there's some dungeon masters that are cool with that, some that aren't. Uh, for me, everything goes. Everything flies. If you want to come to my game session and work out some issues that you have, as long as you're here playing the game and you're enjoying it and you're getting something out of it, cool.
For what it's worth, Krishna, I would feel safe with you.
you know,
you give incredible hugs. You can tell a lot. You can tell a lot from a person by the quality of hug they give. I have found. Yeah, I've said elsewhere that when he was 12, about 12, my younger brother. It was important for my younger brother to be able to game with me. He had gamed with me before then, but that was a really important point. And into 12 to 13, when I was running a Marvel game, the TSR version back from the 80s. It was important for him, and it allowed him to explore all kinds of topics, and kind of in that transitional space between being a child and being a young adult. And he's my younger brother was always precocious, and and like that. So no, it was really good, and I'm thinking back to those as you're describing some of this. I'm thinking back to some of those sessions, and in retrospect, really seeing the value. I knew it was important even at the time, but like that was a long time ago, and no, I can see I can see the value of that. I can see the worth of that, for people to be able to work through. The other thing I'll say is one of our players, Tatiana, when I was interviewing her, she talked about how gaming made her take stock of herself, like what would my character sheet be, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and what skills do I have to navigate this real life situation, which was
yeah.
Like that actually helped her like become a more effective human in some sense. So well, where do you think this is all going? Are we all going to be stuck in some virtual hell? For me, that'd be my idea of hell, where it's like all gaming is virtual and people don't get together. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I hope
Well,
not.
it could get there, but even
Good.
if it is virtual, even if it is like you could like, especially with like VR, there are people that run D&D games in VR. Like there's the one where you can just like
Oh,
play it
for sure, for
with
sure.
other people there, and there's ones where like you're immersed in the world, and I think like they can like create like sprites and stuff like that the players play, which is something that I'm really interested to explore. I just haven't had time yet, but I've read
Mm.
about gaming in VR, which is amazing. Like I'm kind of a gamer tech guy. Like I've played a lot of MMO stuff, and and playing with people, on the other side of the world has been actually really fun, because like you talk to people and meet them and like, oh, where are you from? Well, I live in Mexico.
That
Oh,
you would
tell me about like what it's like
never otherwise.
there where you
Yeah.
live, and you find that like we're all the same, really, and they like just the setting is a little bit different, right? It's just like you in another body type of thing.
I totally appreciate that. I also hope that we can always uh, just meet people. We can always have moments face to face and need nothing other than being able to throw rock, paper, scissors, or something like that
Yeah,
to adjudicate a mechanical outcome.
you just need you don't need any supplies whatsoever.
Nope.
It's like this
Nope.
little noggin.
Nope. Um, well, are there is there are there any are there any thoughts? Like I was thinking about asking you about your philosophy as a GM, or kind of what your if there've been any difficulties that that have surprised you as you have you or hidden joys? Do you have thoughts on any of those? Pick a direction and let's go.
um, yeah, like challenges as a DM.
That surprised you, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, it's- so I think like my you know biggest challenge is one of them is my like urge to have everybody be a part of it. Um, so like
Mm,
I don't want anybody left out, right?
hmm.
So if I have a table of 6 people, um, okay, time to open up another table, I guess, and start running 2 tables now. Oh, there's 2 tables are full. Well, guess 3 tables now. Why not? And so the challenge was like figure out how to do that. Like how to like I got thrown into the deep end, having to run like 12 people at a table, like my first go around from
Hmm.
right, and the big part of it was okay. So it was like I'm always thinking about like processes and how things can like they can make them efficient and make things work and like think of like outside the box. Like how do we make this dynamic? How do we do this? And so uh, I was like, okay, well, time to get a solution. Right? There's a problem. There's always a solution for it. Right? Um,
I love that.
yeah, and like what is it? There's in Japanese. There's uh, the word for problem is opportunity, right? I think
Mm.
I don't know whether that's true or not, but I've heard that said. It's like, yeah, well that's a great thing. It's like so now there's an opportunity. How do I figure out how to run a game by myself? Because that was the big challenge of like getting other GMs to coordinate with, and it was like I know there's other GMs out there that want to do other than just like run a game for a small amount of people, right? And there's other people that want to do this type of stuff. I just haven't found it. And it was like constantly asking, hey, do you want to go work together? Do you want to work together? Do you want to do something? Hey, this is what we're doing. We do like multi-table events. You come and run a table together. Like, um,
Well, Krishna, you're talking about building a community, aren't you?
and,
That's what you're describing.
and so the challenge was like, yeah, it was, so it's just me by myself, right. For a while.
Hmm.
Right. And I had a few people that would help out, but they wouldn't be there all the time. Like only a few events out of the year, right? It's like, well, I got this game now that is every week, and I got a lot more than
It's a
6
lot.
want to play. What do we?
Hmm.
Okay, well, you I you kind of turn one of the players into a mini GM, and you treat each table now like as the way I view it. Each table is now their own player. So you foster this cooperation on the table that normally you don't see on
Mm.
this on in this space, right? Where um, the a lot of times like, hey, we hold wait for your turn, you go, and then you go, and then the second person that wins, like, well, shoot, I can't do that thing I wanted to do because you ran in, and now you're in the middle of where I want to cast my fireball.
Right.
Right? Well, with this system, you all talk about it first. Like you figure out the best strategy to for this round, and then you guys can like. And so what I do is I give them a sheet, and there's the player names, and there's uh, the what they did, and then you write down the damage, and then and then each round is I play it out as like the captain gets a divination stone, and this divination tone the tells them like lets them see into the heart of the enemy, and so they know the enemy AC off the bat. They know the enemy uh, to hit what their attack is
Mhm.
for that round. They know what the enemy save for that round is, and they know what the enemy damage for that round is, and everything gets resolved. Everything gets resolved at the end of the round. So I do my rules for that round, and it's okay. Well, the to hit is going to be 17. Its damage is 15 acid damage, and that's to everybody that has a AC of 17 or lower, and its um, save is going to be 3. Rolled really low. Ooh, all right, like so. It's time to bring out your magic, guys. It's the enemy. All of its saves are 3, so like wail away, right?
And then you have the captain kind of divvy that up or disseminate that.
And then it's AC. And so I have that there. So the captain writes it down. The captain writes everybody's name down, and then he writes down like just everybody tells the captain what they want to do. Now, so they talk about while table 1 is being taken care of, like they're by themselves, right? They're talking about what they want to do,
right.
And the captain's writing down what everybody's damage is because they're rolling and stuff like that. I go to table 2, do the same thing, get the roll in, get them started. Get that. So table 2 start talking, and then when table 2's doing it, you go to table 3. So okay, get table 3 going, get them talking. All right. By the time of that, table 1 is ready with all their damage.
Right.
And then we resolve it. We do what the monster is going to do versus what they're doing, and then we roll for another round, and then it just starts over. I've learned kind of to do this waiting tables. I was in the industry for about 10 years. So and I wait tables at a teppanyaki restaurant. So you have on one table you have a 2-top, a 4-top, and like a 3-top. There's 7 people at this table, but they're all different checks, and they're all their kind of different timing. But you got to get them all like going at the same time, so the chef can come out and cook all their stuff at the same time. And while that table's going, while the chef's at that table, I go run to the next table, get them going. Chef comes out, and you just bounce.
I was laughing. I was laughing earlier, Krishna, because when you were describing a captain, it reminded me of when I was a bus driver, and I would turn certain of the students into trustees.
Oh yeah.
And then they got the rest of the bus under. It's like, okay, you got your. Also, I think when we met in person, when we did the follow up, I told you that what you were describing reminded me. It was like it's so funny because it's like very current, but it's all the way back to the roots of D&D with Gary Gygax's idea of the caller for the group, and where you remember that where the GM the DM would not directly interface with most of the hoi polloi, instead the head count of the players. Instead, he in those days would be talking to the caller, and the caller would tell the DM what everybody was doing. So I don't know. It's
from behind a screen too, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's
voice talking to players,
right.
Handles the
it's funny that it's almost the libertarian extreme left kind of horseshoe or whatever, where it wraps all the way back around. Except you're doing it in a 2025 way, but you've arrived back at that way of organizing the information. It's interesting to me that'd be the case. Well, I have two more things for you, but I guess the second to last is I couldn't let you go without saying that, and this is more a comment than a question. So Darkport's known for kind of fairly dark stories. I'm very deliberate as a GM. I hope coming soon to a table near you, I hope I am not going to always be the only GM at Darkport. In fact, you yourself might even appear behind that screen at some point in the future. We're still figuring that out. I would love that though. Honestly, I would love a Darkport production that had nothing to do with yours truly at all, and I could just be a fan. You know, that'd be amazing. But uh, I'm as a GM, I'm quite deliberate. I love my long form storytelling. I can do one shots, and I have done one shots, but I greatly prefer long form storytelling. I view it as, you know, somewhere between like a novel and improv theater and just a meeting of the minds. People regularly cry at the table. I mean, and we have probably not even, because I'm telling a war story, you
Yeah.
know, the you know, and, uh, I was, you know, a combat medic in Iraq, uh, and it's the whole thing is like raw still, you know, and that's probably always a space I'm going to exist in some way, shape, form, or fashion as a GM. Uh, how the, it fascinates me. So it like the fact that you are on this, in some ways, extreme other end of the GM sliding scale, you know, of like this, like I find you fascinating. And it's amazing to me how like effervescent and light on your feet and welcoming to all comers. You know, I love that. I love that about you, Krishna. I really do.
Well, thank you. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and you know, to the flip side of the coin is like, yeah, like they're. I'm very interested in your style of storytelling because it's like, yeah, very deliberate. Yeah, there's this like this like when you want like to be ominous of like something happening, like it's like this very, you can kind of feel it like this, like in the room, and
Mm.
there's, yeah, there's like this emotion uh like to it of like, and if you know, like when you're describing stuff, it like kind of feels like real, like, you know, I'm gonna stub my toe on this rock, I gotta be careful, like type of
Right. Sorry.
but yeah, it's really cool and fascinating, and that's what's cool about this space of gaming, right? You have all these different styles that
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
that kind of that we can all different bring to the table, and they're all valid, and they all have this like their way of storytelling, right? You can't always read comedy novels, or right, you can't always watch a comedy show, or sometimes you want something a little gritty, you want a drama, you want something like
Right.
that's gonna like evoke that like kind of crying part of your you know, the different types of emotions that you go through. um,
I truly believe that, I don't know, 60, 70 even percent of the population could find some table. Like if people just knew, I really think almost everybody could find, or at least a good majority of people could find like a gaming table that would work for them, that would be like interesting to them and would, you know, because it can, like you say, it can be, it's so varied and manifold what the different ways of approaching gaming are, even the definition of what role-playing games are, for goodness sake, you know, that can really that can be, that can be everything from, like you said, you know, a 5 minute. This is why I find this the street D&D just amazing. You know, I find it really remarkable that you have this profound talent for just engaging people in 30 seconds. They're already enthralled, you know, and they're there, and like it may seem normal to you because you're you and that's all you know, but like that's not a normal that's not a usual thing. Like that's a rare talent to have. Um well, I guess there's only one way that I could conclude this discussion, Krishna. What is your quest?
yeah, my quest is, yeah, uh, so for the longest time, you know, I came up with this kind of phrase back like in 1999, where I felt like an artist in search of a medium. You know, and I've,
Mm,
you know, written stories, I've done
mm,
poetry, drawing, painting, crafting of different types, and I'm like, yeah, nothing's really hit, right? Like tried writing screenplays and stuff like that, and it's like nothing's just not it. It's not that thing that I'm like looking for, and I don't know exactly what it is. And I got back into gaming because I was playing video games for all my life, right? And I was was a hardcore gamer for 20 years before I got back into D&D, I was very into PvP, and I interaction with a real person. It was always like you never know what that person's going to do. Like,
right, very different. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they react in different ways. They're going to react. Sometimes they react in the wrong way, and it's going to be right in that situation because they screwed you up, right?
Yep.
And so like I really like that interaction was really I really enjoyed, and I got into dungeon mastering a couple years ago, and I started doing it, and I just did it because it was fun. It's like, hey, I want to play a game, and this is the game that I want to play, and so because someone's not running it, I'm going to run it, and
love that.
I'm gonna have fun with it, and I always want to like push the boundaries of something, and I always want to do something like unique, and I want stuff to be dynamic and like to change and evolve and move, like even during while I'm doing it, and to have not your standard anything, right? And like because even if the standard is great, I want to be a Melkor and like throw a wrench into the song, and
Of course you do.
yeah, and so I started doing this game there, and the resident uh, uh, guy that did sound at the Tiny Minotaur,
Mm-hmm.
he was Dungeon Synth DJ. Pox upon, look him up, really great. I saw him, like they did a Dungeon Synth showcase there, and I watched them all. I'm like, oh, these are really good, but that guy's really good. I really like his stuff. And a week later, he was like, oh yeah. Like I saw him around. I was like, oh, you're the guy. You do sound here. He's like, yeah. And we talked a little bit, and he's like, you know what? I've been watching your games, and if you ever want someone to do sound for you, let me know. And I was like, bam, yes, 100%. That's awesome. Like now, I was like, I was like Ghostland Observatory, but with Dungeons and Dragons, right? So he was doing his DJ part, doing a bunch of music, also doing the sound effects, while I was, telling the story, and like we had a really good dynamic.
Wow.
He's moved on to like other things. He does a lot of promotion in different cities and stuff like that. And I hope to work together with him again in the future. But yeah, we had a few months of doing that together, and it was really great. So my quest is like, I think right now, on top of everything, right, is on top of bringing joy to everybody that I run across, right, try to uplift and elevate everybody in this world, like, but is to like kind of have a DJ and dungeon master, like, so you have a DM DJ and a DM MC working together. So that's my current quest. I think is to get that going again. And I've been doing my own sound and music, but it's a lot, especially with a big audience, right? Running it with like an online game with like 6 people, that like doing that because everything's like right here on the computer. It's really easy. But when I DM, I don't sit down most of the time. I got to be up, and I got to like act out what's going on.
I've noticed that.
You need a lot of room to do what I'm trying to do. So Yeah, so if I had, yeah, so the quest is to one, bring this hobby to make it accessible for everyone, and keep increasing Dark, the downtown area role playing coalition. Like, 'cause we have a chapter in Albuquerque now, from the original Dark creator, and I was like, man, we can get a chapter in other cities, and it's just and doing like nonprofit stuff where it's like GMs go, startup stuff, and bring people together, and people can meet each other like in a neutral location, because it's like, oh yeah, I want to start a game, but do I want to bring this random person to my house and do this? Like, no, like a
Right.
big event, meet, like play in a game together, see if you guys click, and then then you can like make your own home game after that together, right? That's the goal. And then, but personally, yeah, I want to work with a DJ again. I think that's at least a side quest, I guess.
I yeah, I was gonna make a quip in there. You were on such a good roll. I didn't want to interrupt, but I was gonna make a quip about, oh yeah, aside from that tiny little quest of elevating the world and bringing joy joy to everyone around you,
It's like, yeah, it's like the old Steve Martin
I was like, oh boy.
Saturday Night Live, where it's like, if I had one wish, it was all the children would hold hands in unison, sing in joy and harmony around the world. And he starts going off on these really extravagant wishes for himself. Yeah, first the crap about the kids, the harmony and all that jazz.
Right.
But then I also are in like a bunch of money and right. Uh,
Well, all right. Where can people find you? How do they interface with us? And faraway friends, if you're not so far away that you're still some part in Austin or Round Rock, which a number of you are, this is local. I mean, this is one of the reasons I'm so excited for this. So how do people find you? How do they interface with you?
Linktree, Enter the Dark. You can go to check out our Instagram, Enter the Dark. It's D.A.R.C. You can jump on, if you jump on Reddit r slash
Mm.
Austin RP, and you'll see a lot of post my own. You can post and say like, hey, I'm looking for Dark, and like I'll jump on and usually go around and check those and try to like any posts of people like from Facebook or um, like the Dungeons and Dragons get together groups or stuff like that. I always like say like, hey, if you're looking for somebody, you can check out our Discord. You jump on the Dark Discord, and maybe I can add, send you like a QR code. People can just like scan from their computer, and
Yes, yeah. We'll when
we'll pop that up in
uh,
post.
when we eventually when we air this, and hopefully this will be a premiere, we should be able to have certainly all of that in the description. And yes, you do have a Discord. I know because I'm part of it. So there we are. This thing is making me well. Faraway friends. That has been Krishna. Also, Vino Veritas. So I will have to remember to refer to you at that way sometimes, because
It's my stage name, everybody.
that's your stage name. So hopefully this has been an interesting discussion for y'all. It certainly has been for me, and I have a sneaking suspicion that this is not going to be the last time that you see friend Krishna with us, or he or his colleagues. I would love to also have a chat with the amazing Miss Hannah. She has a few things to say.
She is
Um,
so creative.
she
Oh
is
yeah.
she's incredibly talented, and she makes the puppets
Yeah.
for the
She
wizard.
she does all the art for
Yeah,
the book and the site and everything, and she handcrafts all these puppets. It's amazing.
I want to. Yeah, it's such a talent. I want to get part of. Darkport's like literal DNA mission is that we can elevate other artists. That like people who are in the space like have a chance to be known and be seen and be heard. And it's really important to all of the founders and basically all the troupe. Super important. Okay, well, thank you so much for spending time with us, Krishna. We appreciate that, and we will the lines of communication remain open, and we hope to see you in our neck of the woods soon. Faraway friends. Yeah.
Oh, wait, well,
No.
angels
No, go.
and farewell, faraway friends. May all your rolls be 20s.
There you go. I'm not going to do better than that. Bye, y'all.